Welcome everybody. Today we are proud to announce our new and highly anticipated full LED projection headlight for the Ninja 300 and 13 to 18 ZX-6R 636. This headlight features our proprietary design 6 low beam LED projectors, dual high beam reflectors, and dual high output LED light bars situated at the bottom. One neat feature of this headlight that's 100% plug and play. Doesn't require any modifications such as cutting, splicing, soldering, none of that. It's a true bolt-on, plug-in and go type product. This is all thanks to this simple and clean all-in-one main harness that we designed. It plugs right into the back and the other end plugs into your bike, and that's it. As an optional add-on, you can additionally install our Intelliflash module. This module allows the LED light bars to flash alongside your existing turn signals. Note that Intelliflash is sold separately. We'll walk you through the installation of the Intelliflash module later in the video. Out of the box, the light bars come pre-configured to turn on as running lights, and they will not flash at all. These headlights are also SAE and DOT approved to use in all 50 states. We put it through a testing environment and a photometrics laboratory to ensure proper brightness, color focus, to ensure your safety on the road. For beam leveling, we have pre-calibrated for the average rider. So no adjustments are needed for the majority, although you can adjust them to your weight preference by turning the adjustment screws on the back of the light. We'll walk you through later on the video how to do that. Let's go ahead and get started. This installation video is specific to the Ninja ZX-6R. If you happen to have a Ninja 300, and go ahead and check out our other video. We're going to put a link in the description below. The steps that we're going to be doing in this installation, we're just going to correspond to the printed instructions that you can download off our website. Step 1, we're going to be loosening this wheel well under panel. We're just going to loosen it. We're not going to remove it. It's held on by 9 plastic fasteners. There's 3 on each side, and there's 2 towards the back, and there's 1 in the center forward right there. Okay, to remove these fasteners, you're going to be using our small thin screwdriver. We're just going to press the center of it until you hear a pop. Then you'll be able to extract the fastener. You're going to repeat for the other fasteners. Out of the 9 fasteners, the only one that's different is the center forward one. This one is different from the others, so you keep track of that. This is what those fasteners look like. You press down the center, you extract it, and to reset it, just push the center of it outwards, put it back in the hole, and then press it flush to lock it back in. After you remove the 9 fasteners, the panel should be pretty loose. There's still 3 locking clips on this side and 3 locking clips on the other side. that you need to undo. You can just start at the bottom and work your way to the top. The front of it is inserted under this nose fairing. Just pull it back. It's not going to completely fall because there's two Christmas tree fasteners still holding it in place. Step 2, we're going to be removing two plastic fasteners that holds the lower of the side fairing pieces together. The front one is this push type, same one as the wheel well under panel. Just push in the center and you should be able to extract it. And the bottom one, you're going to need a stubby Phillips to remove the screw. Yeah, it's one of these. Step 3, we're going to be removing this side painted panel cover. It's held on by one bolt here and one plastic fastener up in here. So go ahead and use your 4mm Allen. Let's remove this bolt. It looks like this bolt has a plastic washer as well, so you gotta be careful not to lose that. Then using your small thin screwdriver, up in here is that fastener. Go ahead and get that popped. Extract it. Now to get this off, there's one friction fastener at the back. We have one locking tab at the top, one slide tab right here, and two snap tabs right here. So to get it out, you're going to first start by pulling it towards you at the rear. Here, pop. Then you're going to slide it back very slightly and then pivot it forward to get it off. Now onto the other side, we'll repeat the same process. Step 4, we're going to be removing this long painted side panel under the gas tank. We're going to have 3 bolts on the front, 1, 2, 3, using a 4mm Allen. And it's also held in place by 2 friction fasteners, one here and one at the back. We're going to have 4 Velcro fasteners in the center, and you're going to have 2 sliding tabs at the front and 1 locking tab at the rear. And we'll take note that these 2 front bolts have plastic washers. What I like to do is start in the center. You want to reach under here and pull up on the Velcro fasteners to disengage it. And then slowly work your way back and unclip with the locking tab right there. Then undo this friction fastener right here and then slide the whole thing rearwards to remove. Alright, here's the piece we just took off. We have 2 friction fasteners, one here and one here, and then we have the 4 Velcro fasteners at the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, and at the front we have the 2 sliding tabs, and then at the rear we have that 1 locking tab. This is the one that you have to kind of pull down and towards you. And now moving on to the other side. Step 5, remove this black panel underneath the handlebar. It's already unbolted, so you just have to maneuver it to get it out. Just repeat on the other side. Now onto the left side of the bike, we're going to be unmounting this fuse box from its holder. Use a small flat screwdriver, pry up on this little locking tab. And lift right up. And you just move that out of the way for now. Step 7, we're going to locate the rectifier. It's right next to the fuse box on the left side of the bike. We're going to go ahead and unplug it. It's this light gray and this black plug right beneath it. Step 8, we're going to remove the side mirrors. It's going to be these 2 bolts each for each mirror using your 4mm Allen. Step 9, we're going to start and loosen the side fairing assembly. Once we're all done, the whole side fairing on both sides, the nose fairing, the headlight, is all going to come off in one piece. So we're just going to start loosening stuff up first, and the first thing we're going to do is remove the rearmost bolt on the side fairing. It's a 4mm Allen. Let's go ahead and get that removed. And this bolt has a plastic washer, so you want to be careful, don't lose that. And now on to the other side. Step 10, we are going to locate the rubber boot that houses all the wires on the left side. And it's north of the rectifier. Go ahead and undo this wire management clip right there. Then we'll be able to slide that boot back, access the wires. So within this boot, we're going to find the high beam connector. Unplug that. The left side DRL. Go ahead and unplug that. And then the left side turn signal. Now let's move on to the other side. Step 11, we're going to move on to the right side. Locate the corresponding boot. It's right under the charcoal canister box. Might be kind of hard to reach. Let's go ahead and undo the wire management clip first. Give us some slack. Boot back. And then go ahead and unplug the low beam. And the right side DRL. And then the right turn signal. Step 12, we're going to be unbolting the charcoal canister bracket. There's 3 bolts holding the bracket onto the fairing. There's one on top right here, and there's 2 below. So you're going to need a stubby Phillips to get this one out. Here's a view from underneath showing the 2 Phillips screw that holds on the lower portion of the bracket. One right there, one right there. You're going to need to turn the handlebar to get one and turn the handlebar back the other way to get the other. We actually found it more accessible using a standard length Phillips screwdriver. Step 13, we're going to continue loosening this side fairing assembly for full removal. We're going to remove this one bolt using your 4mm Allen, and then behind this side of the fairing there's one drain tube that we need to unclip. And this bolt has a plastic washer. Make sure you don't lose that. And here's that drain tube that I was talking about. Just unclip it. Now moving on to the left side of the bike, where we're going to remove the corresponding bolt to loosen up the side fairing. It's this one right here, right behind the kickstand assembly. Step 14, we're getting down to the final steps to remove the headlight and side fairing assembly off of the bike. We have 2 bolts left, one right here and one right here. We are just going to loosen them to the point where we can grab it with our fingers to turn it. So using your 10mm socket, let's go ahead and loosen them up. Step 15, I've prepared some bubble wrap and 2 boxes so we can set the fairing on once we remove it off the bike. So those 2 screws that we loosened up earlier, we're going to remove it now. And then once you get to the last bolt, you want to support the whole assembly. It might come down. And you want to flex the rear of the side fairings outward a little bit to clear the frame. Step 16, we're going to be removing the headlight assembly from the front fairing assembly. So we're going to have 3 Phillips screw, one right here, one right here, and one all the way in the front and the bottom down here. Followed by 2 bolts, one right here under the wire management clip. You need to bend that out of the way to access it, and another one right here. And the bolts are going to be using a 10mm socket to get that off. And here's the wire management clip. We're going to save that to reuse later. And the headlight should just go straight back for removal. Step 17, we're going to be swapping over the 2 rubber grommets at the lower mounting points, and also the 2 rubber well nuts on the upper mounting points. To remove the grommet, you're going to have to first pop up this metal insert. You just pull it back. Then you're able to maneuver the rubber grommet. For the upper well nut, we found it quite challenging to get that off. So the best technique we found out that worked pretty well is to grab a screwdriver and push it through. So I'm going to start right here, just push it through. And start here again, push it through, and there we go. We're now going to reinstall the grommet and well nuts back onto the LED headlight. Installation of the well nut is equally as challenging. So how we're going to approach this, we're going to go from the front going to the back and push it through. We're going to use a needle nose plier. We're going to grab it and fold the back end of it somewhat in half. like this. And then we're just going to pretty much shove it into the hole. And then we're just going to use the screwdriver and slowly work our way to press it through. Step 18, we are now going to be connecting the sub harness to the back of the headlight. Let's go ahead and locate the right side, or the letter R. Right side is represented by the white and the black input wire from the low beam. Go ahead and locate the 4-pin off-white connector and plug it into the white connector on the back of the right side headlight. Then you're going to locate the left side. Left side is represented by the blue and the black wire on the input for the high beam. Go ahead and locate the 4-pin off-white connector, plug it into the white connector on the left side of the headlight. Step 19, we're going to be reinstalling the headlight back into the front fairing assembly. Our sub harness has a crossover cable that crosses the power over from left to right side. We're going to have to run this behind these two upper mounts. So before you put that screw in, place it behind like that. And the crossover cable is going to run on top of this opening in the front nose ring. After securing the headlight, you want to organize the cables a little bit. You want to make sure that when you routed the crossover cable, you want to make sure that it's perfectly in the center so that the left and right ends are equal length. If not, you can adjust it just by sliding it over. Then you want to route the cable through this area right here next to the well nut down to the cable management clip where you're going to clip it in. We are going to additionally secure the crossover cable using this hole right here and the included cable ties in the kit. This is what it should ideally look like. Left side of the harness secured by the factory cable management clip going up. The cable tied at that mounting hole next to the well nut. Goes behind the left side mounting tab on the top over the air inlet opening. Then back behind the right side upper mounting tab, then cable tied to that hole all the way down to the right side where it's secured by the factory cable management clip. Step 20, we are going to prepare to reinstall the front headlight and fairing assembly back onto the bike. But there's a couple things you want to double check first before you do that. You want to make sure that the charcoal canister box is positioned tightly to the motorcycle. Make sure it's not hanging. And that on this side, make sure that the fuse box is tucked in and not hanging. What I've also done is I prepared those 2 bolts from step 14 that we removed, ready to go and within reach, so we could just grab it and thread it on. Now you want to flex it out a little bit so you can get it around the chassis. Now we're going to tighten the screws with our 10mm socket. Because these are well nuts, you don't need to overly tighten these. Before we move further, we're going to go ahead and reinstall the bolt that holds on the lower rear part of the fairing. This is to help take some of the load off of the plastics. Now onto the other side, we're going to reconnect that drain tube that we disconnected earlier. We are now going to connect all the plugs on the right side of the bike. It's the same 3 plugs that we unplugged earlier. We have the right turn signal, and we have the low beam, and then the right side DRL. All these plugs are different, so you can't really mess it up. Plug into the correct one. And just cover it with the boot. Now we're going to plug in the same 3 plugs on the left side of the bike. We have the high beam connector. We have the left side DRL. And then we have the left side turn signal. Just cover it with the boot. We can now plug the rectifier back in and fire up the bike to do a function test. We are now going to be walking you through how to install Intelliflash. If you do not plan to install Intelliflash, you just go ahead and finish up the installation and reinstall everything in reverse order. So now we're going to locate the right side DRL, which is represented by this single red wire. Go ahead and unplug that. And then you're going to locate the same corresponding connector on Intelliflash. Male and female, plug that in. And then on the other side of Intelliflash, you're going to have a male and a female turn signal connector. So you're going to unplug the turn signal connector from the factory Kawasaki turn signal. And you're going to plug male to female, female to male on this side. Then we're going to use the included cable ties to secure the Intelliflash to this friction fastener that isn't used on the 636. To secure Intelliflash, what I did was I used 2 zip ties. One wrap it around this friction fastener, and the other one to loop it around that cable tie, and then use that to fasten the Intelliflash down. So this thing is not going to go nowhere. Also remember to properly reposition that boot to cover as much wire as you can. Then you want to install the fuse box back in. Now we repeat the same thing on the other side to install Intelliflash. Now we're going to check Intelliflash to make sure that it's working properly. After you verify that, the only thing now is to button everything back up. We can pretty much install everything in reverse order, starting with a charcoal canister mount, fuse box, side mirrors, black plastic panels under the handlebar, side fairing upper panels, side fairing lower painted panels, the lower fasteners to join the bottom fairings together, and lastly the wheel well panel. Alright, we're going to be walking you through how to adjust the beams on this headlight. We're currently on the right side of the bike. For up and down, we're going to locate the screw that's all the way to the bottom and towards the center. Turning it clockwise will make the beam go down, and counterclockwise to go up. The same is true on the left side adjustment as well. Now to adjust the left and right, you want to locate the screw on the uppermost and towards the outer of the headlight. Turning this clockwise on the right side will make it go right, counterclockwise to go left, but on the opposite side, on the left side, it's going to be opposite adjustment. So if you're on the left side, you want to turn left, you want to make it turn it clockwise, and if you want to make it go right, turn it counterclockwise. And you want to make sure you turn it the same number of revolutions on each side so that it stays even on both sides.